All right, what's up, guys? We should be live, should be good to go. Appreciate you guys tuning in. 2-game slate tonight, but it wouldn't be an NBA slate without a bunch of crazy news. So LeBron is out now. If you haven't been paying attention, this is like slate changing news. Gonna change the whole dynamic of the Lakers. Heading into this slate, I didn't really have a ton of Laker interest. There wasn't many Lakers I had interest in. But man, like now there's just going to be so many viable plays from the Lakers. We're still going to have to wait and see who they start. We're waiting for a starting lineup from the Lakers. But yeah, LeBron's out now, so that is just going to completely change the slate. And we're also waiting for news on Tobias Harris. It's actually pretty big as well. Tobias Harris is a game time decision. I mean, if Tobias Harris sits, like Philly's been running a really tight rotation lately, so I think you would see huge minutes for Tyrese Maxey, huge minutes for Court Moss. I would assume Thibault probably plays a ton as well. I'm guessing that if Tobias Harris gets ruled out, they'll start Georges Niang, and Georges Niang's only 3,500, so he's going to be someone that we can definitely look to as a value play. So yeah, man, like we're waiting for news here. The LeBron news, though, I was surprised by that. I really thought he would play. I'm going to the game tomorrow. I've said this before. Like they play the Hornets in Charlotte tomorrow, and I'm going to the game. Man, I really hope LeBron plays. Like that would be my fucking luck. The one Laker game that I go to this year is a game that like LeBron doesn't play. Like that would just be my luck. So I'm really hoping that he just sat out today so that he'll play tomorrow. But yeah, man, I see some Westbrook questions. Westbrook, I mean, probably the best play on the slate in my opinion. 8,500 for Westbrook. Like I know he's been god awful this year and just as of late, but when LeBron's been out this season, like Westbrook has had some really, really good games. I want to take a look at his games this year without Westbrook or without LeBron on the floor. Let me pull up StatMuse just so I can see. So Russell Westbrook game log per game without LeBron. I should have pulled this up earlier because I want to show you guys like all the games that he's played. Let's see. Let me see if I can figure this out. Westbrook. But then I don't know. I can't get it to pull up. I want to say he's played a few games this year because I know LeBron was out for protocols a few games, and I know Westbrook did really well those games. Like some of his best games this year have been when LeBron is sat. Like I know this game might have been this one against Houston, like LeBron was out. Like some of these games earlier in the year when LeBron was out for protocols, that like Westbrook was putting up big games every night, triple double. 8,500, like he's just way too cheap. Westbrook's for sure one of my favorite plays on the slate. I was trying to pull up like his game log per game without LeBron this year, but I can't get it to pull up. Let me see. Russell Westbrook. Game log. Yeah, I can't get it to pull up. It's not working. I don't know why. But I know, like, man, like a lot of his best games this year have come without LeBron. I'll just say that. But yeah, like Westbrook's going to be a top play today. He's one of my favorite plays on the slate. I think Westbrook looks great. I think Anthony Davis, at his price point, probably not going to like stand out as a top play. But I think Anthony Davis is going to, probably get closer to normal minutes. We don't really have any update on what kind of minutes limit he's going to be on. First game back, he played 25 minutes. So, like, I think there's a good chance that AD plays tonight, or obviously AD's playing tonight, but I think there's a good chance AD doesn't play tomorrow, which, kind of sucks because I'm going to be at the game, but I think AD might sit tomorrow, so maybe they play AD, like, normal minutes tonight, and then LeBron plays tomorrow. So, like, AD at 9,800, he's not as good of a play as Westbrook is just because there's a little bit of uncertainty with his minutes. But, like, if AD does play, like, 35, 36 minutes, I mean, he can go for 50, so he could go for 60 for that matter. And he's going to be really low owned, I'd assume. Like, he's not going to get any ownership compared to guys like Steph and Embiid and Cat and Westbrook. So, if you want to take a dart throw on AD, like, I think it's fine. I think he's viable. He's a little bit cheaper on Yahoo. So, if you play on Yahoo, like, I think $39 for Anthony Davis, same price as Cat. Like, I'd expect AD comes in way lower owned than Cat on Yahoo. So, like, that's a tournament play you can make. And on a 2-game slate, I mean, you're just kind of looking for ways to get different. So, playing AD at low ownership, I think's fine. Playing some of these dart throws like THT. I see some THT questions. Like, I think THT will get some ball handling opportunities with the second unit without LeBron. Malik Monk, I think, is a pretty good value now. Carmelo. I mean, these guys have upside. It's just, it's going to be tough to predict which one has the good game. But I think throwing some darts on Malik Monk. I mean, Malik Monk's a really good play. But, like, throwing darts on Carmelo, throwing darts on THT. Like, these are guys you can definitely play in large field tournaments. Like THG is not really projecting that well, but like he could still do really well here, even if he plays like 24 minutes. Like he could, be really productive in that time because without LeBron this year, he's been a pretty good player, point per minute player, I should say. And I'd assume that they're probably going to stagger him and Westbrook. So like whenever Westbrook's off the floor, they'll probably have THT out there as like the point guard. So yeah, definitely think THT as a dart thrower makes some sense. All right, guys, let's start answering some questions. We'll try and get through all these questions. We'll be live till about 7 Eastern. Go live for about 20 more minutes. Makes Monk look a lot better. Yeah, I agree. I think Malik Monk's a really good value now with LeBron out. I mean, Malik Monk probably doesn't start. He probably comes off the bench, but I think he's still going to play like high 20s. Maybe he gets around 30 minutes, and his upside is definitely there. There's just so much usage available. Taking LeBron off the floor, there's just going to be so much opportunity for other guys. Westbrook, Anthony Davis, Monk, all those guys. Who's the best Laker play besides Davis? I mean, I think Westbrook's my favorite play from the Lakers. I think Westbrook's just way too cheap. Like, he should be a 10K player when LeBron is out. So we're just getting a massive discount on Westbrook. And like, he's projecting well, but he's not projecting like absurdly well to where I think he's going to be like massive chalk. So I think Westbrook's just like a lock and load for me. Anthony Edwards or Cat? I would play Cat straight up. Harris is questionable. They have to see how he does pregame shoot around. Seems like he'll be playing. Yeah, that's news we're waiting on. They did say that he went through his normal pregame warm-up. So I'm guessing Tobias Harris will play, but that is news that we are still waiting on. That's really like the only news that we're waiting on. Waiting for Tobias just because I had him. Who do you like from that game? I mean, there's a lot to like from the Lakers-Sixers. That's definitely the much more appealing game on the slate just because now that LeBron's out, there's just so many good plays from the Lakers. I think my favorite Lakers are probably Westbrook, Monk. Definitely Westbrook and Monk are my two favorites, and I think AD in tournaments makes some sense. I think AD might play his normal minutes tonight. It's not guaranteed, but I think there's a possibility he does, especially with LeBron out. And I think, Carmelo is a viable tournament play. I think THT is a viable tournament play. But the guys I have the most confidence in are definitely Westbrook and Monk. Those are my two favorite plays from the Lakers. Sure hope LeBron plays tomorrow for you. I hope so, man. That's going to be just so upsetting. If I literally, the one Laker game I go to this year is if it's a game that LeBron doesn't play, I'm really going to be upset. I think the most likely scenario is that LeBron sat today so that he could play tomorrow. And then there's a good chance like maybe AD rests tomorrow. Hopefully, though, everyone plays. I mean, I hope everyone plays. It should be a really good game, Lakers-Hornets. Should be super high scoring. Westbrook, Clay, Anthony Edwards, Otto Porter, Embiid, Monk, THT, Beasley. Westbrook, Clay, Anthony Edwards. I think that's solid, Ryan. Malik Beasley... With Jalen Noel playing, I'm not as high on Malik Beasley. Like, we've kind of seen, even when Patrick Beverley's out, like, they'll play Noel a good amount and not really play Beasley a ton. I would have liked Beasley a lot if Beverley and Noel were both out, but I still think Beasley's okay value. I mean, it's a 2-game slate. Like, really, anyone that's going to play, like, 15, 20 minutes is viable on a 2-game slate. Should be happy he sat today. I actually kind of am. Once I saw that he was questionable, I was really hoping that he would sit today because I thought there was a good chance that if LeBron played today, that he would sit tomorrow. So I'm actually kind of happy that he's not playing today because I think that makes it more likely he plays tomorrow. Plus, I know tonight's game's a national TV game, but the Hornets-Lakers game tomorrow is on national TV. It's on ESPN, so that's just more of an incentive to make LeBron play or get him to play. He actually tweeted out something too. Like, he tweeted out some angry emojis, like he's mad that he can't play, I guess. I have to assume that he's like fully healthy. It's probably just like precautionary, just taking it easy on him so that way he can play tomorrow. We think about Davis. Yeah, we kind of talked about AD. I think on this slate he'll be pretty low owned compared to all the other studs. He'll be much lower owned than Embiid, lower owned than Curry, lower owned than Cat, lower owned than Westbrook. I mean, AD has a lot of upside without LeBron. It's just we don't exactly know how many minutes he's going to play. He played 25 in his first game back. Does he play 38 today? Like, I have no idea. If he does, he's probably going to do well, but I don't think it's a guarantee that AD gets his normal minutes. He's a riskier pay-up option, but on a 2-game slate, man, like, you kind of have to get a little risky, especially if you're playing like in the the big tournaments, the large field tournaments. I mean, the way to get different is just play guys like AD that maybe don't project well, but still have a lot of upside if things go go the way that you would want them to. Why is Halliburton letting us down? Dude, Halliburton, man, back-to-back nights. I had a 4-pick power on Prize Picks yesterday, I needed 5 fantasy points from Halliburton. 5 more fantasy points, and he couldn't get there. Had his PRA the night before, and he came up just short. I had his fantasy points last night, and he screwed me again. Back-to-back nights, the Kings have gotten the shit beat out of them. Like, man, I'm just so tilted about the Kings and Halliburton. Court Moss or THT? I would still take Court Moss straight up there. Best value in the second game? I mean, if you're looking for value in the second game, you're probably going to go to, like, Clay or Otto Porter. Kevon Looney, I think, is fine because he's probably going to have to play a lot here to be out there to guard Cat. I don't know if there's much value from Minnesota outside of maybe taking a shot on, like, Noel or Beasley. We did get word that Patrick Beverley is unlikely to play. I actually kind of liked Beverley as a value if he would have played today, but he's unlikely to play. So, like, maybe you see Noel and Beasley play more. I think they're viable dart throws. But, like, a lot of the value on this slate is coming from the first game. You're going to just, by default, you're probably going to have way more exposure to the first game than you are the second game. How you like Melo tonight? I mean, I think without LeBron, like, Carmelo should get more opportunity. You know, Carmelo's been super, like, just inconsistent this season, but, you know, with running that second unit, like, he should get a lot of shot attempts. I mean, I think on a 2-game slate, he's in play. He's not really projecting that well, so, you know, he's going to be low owned, I'd assume. Have fun in the game, Noah. I hope to see you on TV. I should be on TV, man. I'll be 3 rows behind the Lakers bench, so I'll be right there, like, right behind the Lakers bench. You should definitely see me on TV, hopefully. I'm so excited, man. This is like, I've been to one NBA game before. I went to the Hawks-Bucks game, playoff game last year, and that was a lot of fun, but we sat, you know, kind of up in the stands for, you know, I forked out the money to get good seats this time for me and my girlfriend, so I'm super excited for that game tomorrow. Embiid, Looney, or Cat? Embiid, Looney, or Cat? If you're saying like Embiid or Cat, I would definitely take Embiid. I don't know why Looney would be in that discussion. Hey, I hope so, Jared. I hope so, my man. Joel or Steph? Give me Joel. I don't have anyone interested in the Wolves-Warriors game. Noel's my pick. Yeah, that's just, I mean, it's not nearly as appealing of a game, but, you know, still on a 2-game slate, I mean, you got to play someone. You can't play everyone from the first game. You got to play someone from the other game, so. But I definitely have a lot more interest and a lot more exposure. I'm going to have a lot more exposure to the Lakers-Philly game. Especially, like, if Tobias Harris sits too, then, man, there's going to be so much value on both sides. You know, with the Lakers, with LeBron out, and then if Harris were to sit, there's going to be value to go to from Philly as well. Jaden McDaniels or Avery Bradley? I'd probably take Avery Bradley there if I had to pick one. Don't feel great about either one of those guys, but probably Bradley. THG or Anthony, appreciate you. I learned a lot from you. Waiting for next month so I can join Patreon. I'd love to hear that, Chris. Between THG or Carmelo, like, I think both are kind of dart throws. I'm not confident in either one, but I think there's at least upside for those guys with LeBron out. I think Carmelo, just because he's so, like, Carmelo's one of those guys when he's on the court, like, we know he's going to take shots. Now, is he going to make them? That's another question, but Carmelo's just such a, you know, high usage player. Like, he's just, when he's out there, he's chucking. So I think the upside for Carmelo is there if he can get hot. I probably would play him over THT if I had to pick one. Vanderbilt worth a GPP dart throw? I mean, I think Jared Vanderbilt firmly in play. I mean, his minutes have been really good. He played like 36 minutes last game. He's still somewhat cheap, so like, I think Vanderbilt's totally in play. There's not going to be many guys that aren't in play today. Obviously, you're not playing, you know, you're not playing these guys down here that aren't going to get minutes, but like, if anyone's going to play 15, 20 minutes, they're probably viable on a 2-game slate. Maxey or Wiggins? I would probably, that's close. I'll probably side with Maxey, but that's really close. Definitely would side with Maxey if Harris gets ruled out. How many Lakers is too much? Man, like, I think you can probably play 3-4 Lakers. You know, definitely Westbrook and Malik Monk are my 2 favorites, but if you wanted to play AD, if you wanted to play THT, if you wanted to play Carmelo, like, I don't have a problem with it. It's a 2-game slate, so, I mean, obviously you're probably not playing like 6 Lakers, but I think 3, maybe 4 is totally fine. Stanley Johnson for value? Yeah, Stanley Johnson, so he started last game. He's not been very good, like, point per minute wise. He's not been a good fantasy producer. He's, you know, they kind of been out, he's been out there for defense and stuff. Does Stanley Johnson, you know, is he more productive tonight without LeBron? I guess there's a possibility. He's kind of, you throw him into the pool with like Carmelo and THT. Those guys just kind of like dart throws. Not confident in Stanley Johnson, but is at least playable, especially if he starts again. When it comes to DraftKings lineups, what info can we expect from Patreon? Highly considering joining. So I'm never going to give out lineups. just never going to do that. But I give my full updated core plays on Patreon, my positional plays. So it's basically like a sheet I make where I list off my favorite plays at each position, and then I'll highlight them. So I'll give you so I'll have maybe 3, 4, 5 guys at each position depending on what size the slate is, and then I'll have like a tier 1. So these are the my favorite guys. Tier 2, maybe not in that tier, but they're a little bit down, and then tier 3, which would be like these aren't plays that I love, but if you're playing multiple lineups, you could definitely sprinkle these guys in. So list my favorite plays at each position, list my top 20 plays of the day, so you can check you look at the sheet, see who my favorite plays are, then you can check the rankings, and then I rank each guy in order. So that's available too. You get in our Discord chat. If you play on Prize Picks, I give out my Prize Picks plays each day for Patreon members. So there's a lot over there. If you actually, when you sign up for Patreon, if you look under the when you sign up, it tells you everything that I offer with the membership. Thoughts on Court Moss? I think Court Moss is a pretty solid value. He's going to play huge minutes if it's a close game. If Tobias Harris gets ruled out, I would like Court Moss even more. Court Moss he's a score-independent player, so never a guy you feel great rostering, because if he's not hitting shots, he's probably not going to do anything else. But against the Lakers and what should be a fast-paced game, definitely big-time pace-up spot here for the Sixers. I think the matchup's really good for Court Moss. The minutes are going to be there. If he can get hot, he's got upside for sure. And I would definitely like him more if Tobias Harris sits. Edwards and Thibault or D'Lo and Court Moss? Give me D'Lo and Court Moss there. Monk, Poole, Court Moss, or Thompson? Give me Monk between those 4. Who's your favorite play from Philly if Tobias hits? If Tobias sits, obviously that's going to be great for Joel Embiid. It's going to make Tyrese Maxey look a lot better. It's going to be good for Court Moss. I think value-wise, I'd assume that Niang would start for Tobias Harris, so Niang would be a really good value. He's only 3,500, I believe. So he probably would be one of my favorite plays from Philly if Tobias Harris sits. And then obviously the main guys would just look even better. Embiid, Maxey, Court Moss. But definitely Niang would be in play for value. You think Reeves becomes a better dart now? He's another dart throw. Austin Reeves hasn't really shown much upside. He probably plays low 20s minutes. He's playable, but he's definitely not. I would probably play THT over Austin Reeves, I think, if I had to pick one of those two. If I was going to take a dart on one of those one of those bench guys. Monk, THT, Edwards, or Court Moss, Wiggins, and Russell. Give me a Court Moss, Wiggins, Russell there, Tim. Give me a second. You like Clay or Melo? Between the two, I would much rather play Clay. I think Carmelo's a viable dart throw. We kind of talked about that. Carmelo's been really up and down this year, but maybe without LeBron, maybe his usage goes up. Maybe, playing with the second unit, he'll have, more opportunity. Because I think LeBron normally LeBron subs out early, and then he'll, start the second quarter and play with the second unit. So I'm guessing, you'll see, I don't even know, how they're going to stagger the minutes. I don't know if Westbrook will play with the second unit, if they'll just have THT out there. But I think Carmelo's usage will be pretty good with the second unit, especially with LeBron not on the floor. So, he's got upside. He hasn't shown, consistency. That's the thing with Carmelo. Stanley Johnson or Kuminga? Oh, man. I don't feel great about either one of those guys. Kuminga was playing really well, and then he just got, benched out of nowhere, and his minutes went way down. Yeah, Alex says, if it's a blowout, Kuminga, Kuminga, if it's a blowout, he'll do really well, because they've shown, in blowouts, they'll just play Kuminga, the whole fourth quarter. So, if you want to play Kuminga and hope it's a blowout, he probably crushes, but I don't feel great about either one, to be honest with you, Mark. Still don't trust Westbrook with LeBron out? I know Westbrook's been so bad lately, but you got to look at the games that he's played this year without LeBron. I tried to pull it up. I couldn't figure out how to get it up on StatMuse, but basically his best games this year were with LeBron out. I'm actually going to go to the game log. Let's see when, because I know LeBron was in COVID protocols. I just can't remember how long. Okay, so it looks like from 11-2 to 11-19. So basically, let's go look at those dates. So LeBron missed he played 11-2 and then he played 11-19. So let's go take a look. So all these games here were without LeBron. All these games. And I think, Anthony Davis was playing then as well. So 36 minutes, 49 fantasy points, 31 minutes, 44 fantasy points, 34 minutes, 41. Had a bad game against Minnesota, but that was a blowout. They lost by 24. Huge game against Miami, triple-double, 69 DraftKings points. I think that game went to overtime. Charlotte, I think that game went to overtime as well. 41 minutes, 60 DraftKings points. His best games this year have come without LeBron. Now, I think there is still somewhat of a low floor for Westbrook just because he is a terrible shooter. but like he can get so many rebounds and get so many assists. He stuffs the stat sheet. And when LeBron's not out there, he's gonna have the ball in his hands, you know, basically whenever he's on the floor. I feel really good about Westbrook, and if Westbrook disappoints, then oh well. But man, I think he's really good play at 8,500. Like back when LeBron was out, you know, early November, like Westbrook was a 10K player, and we were still playing him then. You know, he was priced to like 10K, 11K, and we were still playing him, and now he's 8,500, and people are like hesitant to go there. Like I think Westbrook's a really good play, me personally, and I'm playing him. A lot of my lineups have Cat over Embiid. Thoughts between the two big centers? I mean, Embiid I feel a lot better about. I think Embiid has a way higher ceiling. Obviously, you're paying more for Embiid, but I think with more value opening up on this slate with LeBron out, I think it's pretty easy to get to Embiid over Cat. Now, I think Embiid's ownership will be pretty high compared to Cat, but man, like I think Embiid's he projects way better straight up. I hope you have fun tomorrow at the game. I'll be looking for you. Hey, appreciate you, Jace. Appreciate you. I'm so excited, man. So excited for that game tomorrow. Hopefully LeBron plays tomorrow. I really hope. Porter or Melo? Give me Otto Porter there. Edwards or Cat? Give me Cat. Niang or Thibault? I'll say Thibault for now, but if Tobias Harris sits, I would take Niang. Thibault I actually kind of like for value just because, you know, he's going to be out there for 30-plus minutes. He started last game in his first game back, and he played like 33 minutes. Danny Green is playing today, but they said they're going to limit Danny Green to 15 minutes, so I don't think Danny Green's really going to take any minutes away from Thibault or Korkmaz or those guys. It's like I think Thibault's a decent value because he's going to play like over 30 minutes. They're probably going to want his defense out there against Russ. I would have felt really good about Thibault if LeBron played because I thought there was a good chance that Thibault would like match LeBron's minutes and just basically guard LeBron the entire game. But I think Thibault's in play for value for sure. Niang, though, I will like a lot. Niang I'll like a lot if Tobias Harris sits. I don't know when we're going to get news on Tobias Harris either. They say he's a game-time decision. Philly, like we've seen in the past, Philly literally will wait to the last minute to rule a guy in. I'm guessing we're not going to get any news on Thibault or any news on Harris, you know, during the stream. I'm about to end the stream here shortly. Still waiting for that. That's really the only news. Russell or Cat? I would play a Cat straight up. Edwards or Russell? Yeah, that's a close one, Nicholas. I think D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Edwards project very closely. I think Anthony Edwards has a bigger ceiling. I think Anthony Edwards is more likely to put up 60. I think D'Angelo Russell's floor is a little bit higher. Like I think Russell's more likely to give you 35 most nights. I think Edwards is more likely to pop off. So, you know, if you're playing a GPP, Edwards probably has the higher ceiling. And ownership-wise, like I think they're projecting pretty similarly owned. Right now, Russell's coming in with 59%. Anthony Edwards is coming in with 39%. So actually a little bit more ownership going to Russell. I prefer the upside on Ant straight up because I think Ant's more likely to put up a slate-breaking score like he did last game. I mean, would he go for like almost 70 Draftkings points last game for Ant? Like he can do that any night. But all right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap up the stream here. You know, it's just a little two-game slate tonight, so there wasn't too much to talk about, but obviously we had to hit on, you know, all that LeBron news. That was crazy. You know, basically changed the whole slate. We, you know, talked about, like, Tobias Harris. If he does sit, we're still waiting for that, but if he does, kind of who I'm interested in, who would be a good value. You know, we'll have to pay attention to starting lineups. We are still waiting for a Lakers starting lineup, and we're waiting for, you know, Sixers starting lineup, too. But yeah, good luck tonight, guys. Appreciate you watching. Again, I'm going to be at the Lakers-Hornets game tomorrow, so I will not be streaming tomorrow, but I will still have a video up for tomorrow's slate. I'll probably get that posted later tonight. But yeah, best of luck tonight, guys. Appreciate you watching. Have a good weekend. We'll be back on Monday. Yeah, guys, appreciate you. See you on Monday. Have a good weekend. Peace.